SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Tom, you hit the jackpot last year with Miles to have that talent, but with that character. And it was just a rarity to see. This year we were standing with Jaron at Moneyball, and a person told him, we're going to enjoy you for the 1 year we have him. And he looked at him and goes, I have so much to get better. Why would you even think that way? And he wasn't being fake. He was being honest. Do you kind of feel like lightning struck twice with two kids of that character back to back?
You know, I think lightning struck twice that they're two character kids and incredible families. I mean, you know, I don't know what Jaron will do. He doesn't know what he's going to do. What he's got to do is get better to make us a better team this year. And I think that's what he's setting his sights on. I know from his family standpoint, you know, I mean, everybody. I mean, you two are the only one in my building that aren't one and done right now. I mean, every kid thinks he's one and done. Every kid wants to be. No insult to either one of you, but look in the mirror and you'll understand why. You're just not ready to play at that level. But I think, you know, in Jaron Jackson, he's got a good role model to learn from. You know, take care of your business, let the rest handle itself. Don't worry about all the other things. Worry about being the best freshman you can be. And if that turns out to be good enough, that he moves on because it's what he should do. The nice thing that I know, you know, his mother's involved with the WNBA, his dad played in the NBA. There will not be a bad decision made, and that makes me feel good. The problem is like all freshmen, he's got a long ways to go. He's got to get better at some things, and yet kind of a treat to coach. Very smart kid. He's a very, very, very smart student, and so put those two things together. He works. He works on his game. He's around those guys that play so hard, meaning Tom, and kind of lives with Josh and Miles. So he's got good people to look to try to get better, and I think he will. And I think he'll do something that a lot of kids don't do. Let the process happen. You know, let the process happen. See where it takes you, but not coming in and. Good news is you reiterated it, not coming in thinking he's already accomplished the world. You realize he has a lot of things to do, and one of them is to help us, you know, get to be the best team we can be.
Coach, to your left, back by the cameras, can you expand upon Xavier Tillman calling him the biggest surprise at camp and just kind of?
Well, the reason I say that is we thought he'd be a very good player, but he's just come on faster. I really attribute a lot of it to losing the weight, and he just kind of. He's more athletic than we thought. He runs the court better. He's got great hands, you know, and they're big hands. And so I say surprise. I guess you could take it insulting, like we didn't think he was any good. And when we offered him a scholarship, of course we thought he was good. But he's a lot of times you get guys and the rankings are always so high and this and that, and they never can live up to them themselves. You know, he's a kid that wasn't ranked off the charts, but is better than the ranking gave him. Those are what I call nice surprises. And, you know, it's just such a good class, too, with him, Jaron, and Brock, and Jack. They all get along well. So hopefully keeping the tradition, keeping, you know, the culture alive here. And I think those guys will do a good job of that.
Tom, you talk about, over here, they kicked me off to the cheap seats. You talk about telling your players not focusing on the media, but when you look and you see that your team is ranked preseason 3, 2, and 1, what is the message that you tell them? Do you embrace this, or do you tell them, guys, we still got a long way to go?
Well, I did tell them the stories, you know. I told them the stories when we weren't ranked at the beginning of the season and made it to a Final Four. I told them the stories that we, you know, different rankings. I told them the stories of how we'd gone to Final Fours with no pros and we'd gone there with 3. I've told them the stories that we didn't get there with 3 pros sometimes, you know. So the advantage of, either being old or experienced, whatever you want to call me, is I've got a lot of experience at different things. And the one thing I told them is, so all those things I've talked about to my guys, I said, I've been unranked and looked like nobody cared about you. And we've been ranked 1 in the country and had pressure on us. I much more like the pressure, you know, because that's better for the program, it's better for the players. It means that we're legitimate contenders for something. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, you know. We needed to get better defensively last year. We're moving people around in positions. We've got more depth. I'm going to have to do a better job coaching them. It's, you know, I was a kid that they held me hostage last year. If they didn't play bad, I looked down the bench and I had nobody to put in, you know. But on the other side, now we got a lot of depth. I'm going to have to do a little work. Last year it was harder on me to look down there, but it was easy because I just said, hey, I'm playing home playing. And so I told them that you better embrace it because, you know, not all the time do you get it. And really, if you can't handle it, you shouldn't have come here. I mean, we've proven over the years now enough times that, you know, we're a quality team. We've been ranked in the top 10 a lot more than we haven't in the last 15 years. And, you know, hopefully that's why you came. You know, you came for that. So, you know, the only pressure that you'll put on yourself if you don't prepare to be as good as we think and they think. You know, it's like not preparing for the test, you should go in there nervous as hell. But if you've done your preparation work, you should go in confident, feeling good. That doesn't always mean you'll win, evident by the Middle Tennessee. You know, I got a lot of great things I can bring up to my team, you know, good and bad and indifferent, but they're all facts alike. They're all part of the way the world works. And I'm telling them this year, learning from 2 years ago, that we got to try to have great practices every day. Never going to be satisfied with anything less because, as we learn in one and done time, one bad day. So let's practice, you know, with the mission in mind that we don't want to have a bad day in the Big Ten tournament. We don't want to have a bad day in the NCAA tournament. We don't want to have a bad week. We got 3 big games in a row because we're going to have a couple of those kind of weeks. Let's work on being as good as we can be every time we take the floor. And I think that's kind of the mission statement of the year.
Coach, right in the back here. You talk about, you know, a lot about the freshman to sophomore jump. With that said, is it safe to say that, you know, with the talent that the freshmen from last year had moving to their sophomore year, is Michigan State going to go as far as the sophomores take them this season?
You know, I mean, I don't even know who I'm starting yet. I have a decent idea, but you just think about it. I could start 4 sophomores and a freshman. I could start 4 sophomores and a senior. I could bring 3 guys that played in the Final Four. I think 2 might have even started. 1 for sure did, and Tom, and I think Schilling played a lot in that game if he didn't start. Coming off the bench maybe, you know, there's a lot of different ways we can go. So I think our sophomores are going to be important, but I do think of Gavin Schilling, I think of Matt McQuaid, of Kenny Goins. I think those guys, Jaron Jackson, you know, maybe Xavier, those guys are going to be important. We're going to play more guys. I mean, we're not going to play 12 guys, but we're not going to play 6 like we went through last year either.
Excuse me, you talked about Langford a little bit earlier, but how much different do you say he's improved? How much of it is he's healthy now? How much of it is maybe a mindset because he's healthy now? Because I feel like we saw a little glimpse of it late last year, just a little bit.
You did see a little glimpse late, and that was, if you want poor coaching, I'll give myself a D in something right off the bat. You know, he was hurt. He missed that whole last month of the preseason. And then we got him healthy a week before we went to Arizona. We played him there. And I tried to play him a lot, and I thought I'd play him into it. You know, I acted like an NFL quarterback coach, you know, like you can play a guy into it, he's going to get better. But you know what happens when you play a guy into it and he's not ready to do that? Sometimes he loses confidence. Sometimes he never gets healthy. So I don't think he did a bad job. I think I did a poor job. And maybe how I handled that. He's such a good kid. You kind of go by what they say. There's no question he was injured for over half the year last year. Not anything serious, not anything he should have been held out, but it was a hamstring, and that's a tough injury for an athlete. But I think he is more confident this year. I think he got better with the ball. I think he's a much better defender. You know, when you ask those guys to have to be good defensive players last year, and then with the lack of depth we had, they had to play a lot of minutes. It's just a bad combination of things. So I do think what you saw at the end, or you saw tidbits of, I think you're going to see that on a more consistent level. And like I said, that kid has worked his tail off all spring, summer, and fall.